Its share of the economy is quite large. It was the growth sector in Jordan and our pride in that we were able to adapt to the global transformations happening in this sector, with things like cheap flights, things like demand for ecotourism, demand for adventure travel, film locations, Airbnb, Expedia, new ways of operations. This was a transformative stage the last few years in the tourism sector. And Jordan proudly was able to adapt. We demonstrated that we are a partner in the global economy. Unfortunately, and since much depends on the resumption of international travel after the COVID-19, tourism may take a very long time to recover. There are lots of things that we can do right now, collectively and individually. For example, 2 days ago, the Prime Minister announced a package of assistance for the tourist industry establishments and workers. It contained soft loans, tax breaks, and income assistance for workers through the Social Security Corporation. So tourism can become a platform for recovery, and it can have a positive socio-economic impact. And this is what our speakers will be talking about today. So now I proudly want to introduce the speakers. We will start with Heike. Heike Harmgaard is the Managing Director of the Southern and Eastern Mediterranean region at the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. She's a German national. Dr. Harmgaard holds a PhD in economics from University College London and has worked for the Economic Intelligence Unit at the Institute for Fiscal Studies before she joined EBRD in 2006. In 2013, she became EBRD's first head of office in Jordan, based in Amman, and this later expanded to covering Lebanon and the West Bank and Gaza in 2017. She is currently based in Cairo, overseeing 150 staff and supporting the formulation and delivery of EBRD's strategy and business plan for the Arab region. EBRD puts special focus on green energy and inclusive and sustainable tourism. One example that some of you may know about is the Ayla Oasis project in Aqaba. The project has been designed with a strong focus on sustainability using advanced energy and water efficiency technique. This project also included technical assistance in hospitality training for young people in Aqaba to provide them with new opportunities. Furthermore, EBRD is supporting the setting up of a sector skills council that has embarked on devising national occupational skills standards. And we know how important the skills issues for the tourism sector are. More details of the role of this sector skills council in supporting the tourism industry and how it's going to be responding to the COVID-19 will be presented by Heike during her presentation. So now, before I give Heike the floor, let me also introduce Constanza. Constanza Farina is the UNESCO representative to Jordan since February 2014. Prior appointments include UN Resident Coordinator, UNDP Resident Representative in Jordan, and to Libya. Previously, she served as Director of the UNESCO Ramallah Office and as Secretary of the Council with the UNESCO International Bureau of Education in Geneva. She holds a master's degree with honors in Oriental languages and culture. Ms. Farina was a critical member of the UN response to the coronavirus and the UN framework in terms of its response. She had also provided leadership to ensure UNESCO's strategic commitments to Jordan are being met. I don't think we can overemphasize the multi-dimensional role that UNESCO has been playing in supporting sustainable tourism in Jordan. This is from the cultural and heritage protection, to skills, to education, to the use of technological and digital advances, to enhance the touristic experience. So these are our speakers for today. I will ask now Heike, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction, Mary, and it feels really of being with friends. Of course, you represented also the Jordanian government at the EBRD Board of Governors, so a really great cooperation. And also Constanza, I think, is such a great partner, and we can learn so much from the work that UNESCO has done in tourism as a development bank that is looking from a more green and inclusive angle of how cultural heritage really is critical. So thank you so much for your kind introduction. And maybe just to add one comment, I should be based in Cairo at the moment because I've taken on this regional role since 1st of January, but not just because my heart will always remain in Jordan, but also since the closure of the airport has changed my moving date. So actually this is my home office in Amman at this point in time that I'm with you now. But thank you very much for this opportunity to discuss with this distinguished panel, but also with all of you listening in to today's webinar, a critical sector of Jordan, and that is critical not only for Jordan's recovery, but also has a lot of potential opportunities to deepen skills and to deepen further move towards a green economy. So I think my interventions will really also focusing what can we do now to set everybody collectively, to set the steps, to do the first steps to be ready for not only a more efficient and even more prosperous tourism industry once global tourism opens up, but also for a shift towards an even more green and inclusive tourism. So I love the fact that you said it's a platform for recovery, Mary. I think that's really what we're all here today, is trying to identify what can we do all together to make sure it's a platform for recovery, and to make sure we do all the necessary steps that we can do now before even some of the international travel opens up. So I think there's no time to waste. So I'm so glad this seminar was scheduled today, because we need to all act now. So now comes my big challenge in sharing the screen with you of the presentation. I hope this works now. I hope you can all see the screen now. So the title is Opportunities in Times of Crisis, Sustainability, Sustainable Tourism in Jordan. I think, of course, we all know the global impact of COVID-19. I think if we didn't know that we live in an interconnected world, I think COVID has really shown that a global pandemic is really affecting us through all our global interconnectedness. And so I think I just want to share some global figures with you before delving into some of the more specific country elements for Jordan. So as you've seen, international tourism arrivals across the world have really plummeted. So these are March 2020 numbers, to up to 64% decline in Asia and the Pacific, 41 in average for the MENA region. So if we go now to the summary of the potential impact that the UN WTO has mentioned for 2020 is really roughly 1 billion fewer international tourists arrival and roughly $1 trillion loss in export revenues from tourism, and between 100 and 120 million direct tourism jobs at risk. So in this bleak picture, what can we do to ensure we enable the platform to restart tourism to be as strong as possible? So of course, international airports are important, gradually resuming flights within the next coming weeks. And I think there the critical nature is we need to all prepare protocols for our countries, but also protocols for the countries we see most promising for tourism at this point. We see